Hi, it's Dan. I had hoped to get another video out sooner, but school started and it's eating up lots of time. And I'd hoped to do a video on a different topic, but last week this whole comorbidity thing was discovered on the CDC, and this whole 6% business. And I thought maybe it would be a good idea to take a minute and make sense of that comorbidity and the 6%. So here I am sitting in the dentist parking lot, waiting for my wife to get her teeth cleaned, trying a different way to record, and we'll see how it goes. So what about the 6%? 6% comorbidity doesn't mean what some claim it means. So this is a little screen grab from the CDC website. And you notice it says, for 6% of the deaths, COVID-19 was the only cause mentioned. And people have taken that sentence and run with it and said, oh, only really 6% of the people who are supposed to have died of COVID actually died of COVID. The rest of them died of something else. And that's really not a fair statement. Let's take a look at why. So what is comorbidity? Comorbidity is the presence of one or more condition occurring with the primary condition. So somebody dies, they fill out the death certificate, and if they have COVID, they put COVID, and if they have diabetes, they put diabetes, and whatever other condition they might have is listed on the death certificate. But that does not necessarily mean that the other conditions caused the death, or maybe not even that they contributed to the death. So basically, comorbidities have three relationships to the primary condition, which in this case would be COVID. They may be incidental. In other words, a person had another condition and it had no effect on what COVID did to them. So this is from the CDC chart in question, and you will notice that 5,608 people died of Alzheimer's disease. Well, the thing about Alzheimer's disease is that it usually doesn't have any serious health impacts until late in its progression. So there's a good chance that most of those 5,608 people actually died of COVID, and just coincidentally they had Alzheimer's. Some of these are complications. In other words, the other condition, the second or third or fourth condition, is a result of the primary condition. So another screen grab, and you'll see respiratory arrest, respiratory failure, not heart disease, but cardiac arrest, heart failure. And it turns out that these are commonly what COVID does to you. So yes, you died of heart failure, but COVID caused the heart failure. Third category is pre-existing conditions. Other things that you may have had for a week or a month or a year or your whole life that contributed to the severity of the primary condition, or COVID in this case. So if you have asthma and you get COVID, the asthma greatly increases your chance of being killed by the COVID, but you're still killed by the COVID. So in many cases, the pre-existing condition doesn't cause the death, it just makes COVID more deadly. So it's not correct to say only people with no conditions, in other words, that 6%, died from COVID per se, the primary condition. Most deaths from flus, viruses, like coronaviruses, actually are because of complications. So it turns out, for example, that the Spanish flu, 1918, 1919, that just an awful lot of people, I don't know if it was most or not, just an awful lot of people died from pneumonia, but pneumonia was the consequence of the Spanish flu in their condition, or their set of circumstances. So they still died of pneumonia, even though it was associated with the flu. It's common. My point, it's common for these type of viruses to kill people because of the complications and the pre-existing conditions. That's the way it's always been. Most of the people who died of just COVID, that 6%, were old, which is essentially a pre-existing condition in itself. I won't say that age is a health condition, but we do know that old people are more susceptible to COVID. Okay, I'm 62, so I'm old. So the conclusions, I'll let you draw your own again. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm just here to give you the facts. And if you found this helpful at all, please feel free to share. Now, I do want to take a minute on this particular issue and give you some of my opinion, my feelings on the matter. If you don't think you can handle that, you don't want feelings, you just want the facts, then you should turn the video off now. But there's one thing that really bothers me about this whole, well, COVID isn't that bad, because only 6% of the people actually died of the disease. People who say only 6% of the people who died of the disease sound like they're saying, now, I don't think they've thought this through, and I'm not accusing anybody, but people who say only 6% actually died from the disease, as if the other 94% didn't die of the disease, sound like they're saying those 94% are some sort of acceptable collateral damage. Okay, so my parents are pushing 90. There are some health issues associated in the family, and they have a good chance of being killed by the disease. So what? Because they were old and because they had health issues and could have lived 10 or 15 more years, the fact that they're killed now means that, well, you know, they were old and they were going to die anyway. Okay, I got to tell you, that doesn't help me at all. Or are we saying that these people aren't important, the people, the 94% who have something else? Or that they don't matter? Oh, it's only 6%. What are we doing all this for? Those other 94% had something else going on. Yes, but COVID still contributed to their demise. So, you know what? They don't matter? Or, sorry, maybe they deserve it because of their pre-existing condition. Maybe they deserve it because they're obese, or they deserve it because they ate too much sugar, or they deserve it because of some other behavioral thing that led to this pre-existing condition. Do my parents deserve it because they're old? And by the way, what pre-existing condition do the people saying, well, a 6%, only 6%, what pre-existing condition do they have that they don't know about? One of my former students died a couple weeks ago at 54 of a heart attack. As far as he knew, he was in perfect health, and then he wasn't. So there was a pre-existing condition that no one knew about. Or maybe they brought it on themselves, part of the deserve it. I mean, this is what it sounds like to me when people say, well, you know, only 6%, that other 94%. They're still dying largely as a result, directly or indirectly, of COVID. Now, listen, in civilized culture, the strong take care of the weak. The strong don't throw the weak under the bus because, well, they're going to die anyway sooner or later. We're all going to die anyway sooner or later. Well, sorry for the rant. Hope you didn't keep listening if you didn't need that. But have a good day, and we'll see you next time.